How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the official Massachusetts Pirates podcast, Walk the Plank. I'm your host, Tommy Birch. And for this second episode, we brought on another special guest, the founder, co-owner, president, and general manager of the Massachusetts Pirates, Jawad. Yatim. How you doing, man?
Not bad. How you doing? I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's good to
So,
talk to you. We're heading into the season soon. Season opener is at the Tsongas Center, March 21st. We're playing the Jacksonville Sharks. So if you want to get your tickets, you can see on the ticker below me right here, masspirates.football.com. You can get your tickets there. So, Jawad, you've been running this team for a while now. You founded the team, 2018. You have a pretty good reputation, man. This,
depending on who you ask, depending on who you ask.
I mean, this team's been very successful. Since 2018, every season that we've had has been a playoff berth. In 2021, you led the ship and brought this team to a national championship. I talked to Coach Ismail last week, and we were talking about how you are not just an owner, but you played in the IFL, which is really unique for an ownership experience. And you are the youngest owner and operator to not only own a professional football team, but also win a championship for a professional football team. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think I was at the time. I think 27 years old back then. So yeah, it was a unique experience. Definitely. I mean, certainly just kind of thrown in the fire. I did that willingly, but yeah, I mean, a lot of that, was just learning from your peers, asking questions, being vigilant, and just taking and as much information as you can, being a sponge, right? So like, it was a lot of trial and error, especially those first couple years, and you just keep fine tuning and fine tuning and fine tuning, and that never stops at the end of the day. I mean, there's still a lot to learn and still a lot to work on, but just every year you continue to improve, and we feel like we've got the operation down to a point where things are smooth, but then also moving markets kind of throws a wrench in that as well. Going from Worcester to Lowell. Last year wasn't necessarily year one, but it kind of did have a little bit of a year one feel to it, just being in a whole new market and having to form all new partnerships and establish all new relationships in the community, being in a new building and logistically just working with new people. So a lot of new last year. I mean, we still were able to execute and put together a run. Made it to the championship, and it's been a lot of work. It really has. And we're just continuing to take it day by day, continuing to work and keep chipping away, and get it to a point where we're happy with.
yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about switching markets and starting from day one over again. Starting a team, running a team. In 2018, when you founded the team, you were the only full-time employee. You had a couple of your childhood friends, correct, that were part-time that helped out.
Yeah, up until the season started, and obviously we got some additional help from the coaching staff, and then started to incorporate some, obviously some front office personnel. But that June through February kind of time frame, it was honestly myself, a couple of my buddies, Brandon, Ryan, from back home in Shrewsbury. We just grinded away at it.
Yeah, shout out Brandon and Ryan for helping out.
Most definitely. Yeah, we were working out of our cars, working in restaurants, just setting up a computer where we could. And then, eventually we got some office space and yeah, put it all together. I mean, that's kind of the stuff that people don't see. It's the background of it all, the true background of it all that people might not be familiar with. But every company that is created, whether it's a football team or, a restaurant or a law firm or whatever, start from humble beginnings. And then we're no different. So, we've got a lot done, with a little. And I mean, that's kind of the theme with arena football. I mean, a lot of people in the front office wear a lot of different hats. These aren't massive staffs. Putting on a pretty big operation, but you're doing it with maybe not as much of the resources that a major league counterparts might have. So it's a great experience. It's a great learning tool, so to speak. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily make it easy at the end of the day. So, but yeah, we've done a good job. We worked hard, take a lot of pride in it, put a lot of time into it, and yeah, I mean, got it to a point where you got a front office that you can trust. You can delegate. Yeah, kind of focus on some of the things that truly make a difference. Within the organization, and yeah, so it's a lot different from back then. But time flies. Time flies. I remember that first season ticket member event we had at the DC Center, and just remembering the first games that we played and first times we traveled as a team, and the first team meeting we've ever had, and to think about where we're at now, it's kind of wild, but it's exciting. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and we're just trying to continue to get after it.
Absolutely. I mean, it took a lot of hard work to get here. It started in 2018, and 2 years later, COVID hits.
Yeah,
And you made it through COVID, and the year after kept the operation so strong that you ended up winning a championship.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, that wasn't easy. I mean, but COVID happened to everybody, so maybe a little more difficult when you're that new at the time. But yet again, we just kept chipping away, kept working, and you just hope that it paid off at some point. And then going into 2021, I know we had an extremely strong group. In my opinion, that was the most competitive year the league has ever had. Because that year, there was no CFL. They were still figuring out when they wanted to start. I don't think they really started until our year was essentially over. There was no AFL. Honestly, it was literally just the NFL and us. So, like, when it came to the players that were available, the player market, I mean, it was extremely rich. And yeah, I mean, our league was loaded that year, and we were able to put together a real strong team. Honestly, I wouldn't even have called it probably an arena team. I would have honestly probably been more resemblant to a UFL team or a CFL team. But yeah, we had a strong group, But at the same time, it takes more than talent to win championships, and those guys bought in. They're excited to be here. They're excited about the opportunity. They wanted to win, and they took that personally. They weren't going to let anything get in the way of that. So, as much as you would like that to be true every year, it's not. We just had a great group of leaders that year, and guys that you didn't really know were going to be leaders until they got here and they established that that's what they wanted to be while they were here. So a lot of pleasant surprises, from that standpoint, and yeah, I mean it was a good group. Once we cut our groove, we kept going, but we want to do it again. And that's certainly the goal. We were 60 minutes away last year. Just got to get back to work, which is the theme. Just get back to it and put another run here together.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, going into this season, chip on the shoulder after last year, we've got a pretty stacked roster so far. I mean, seeing the signings, there's a lot of real good professional experience in those players. What are your goals and expectations for the season? What do you want to do this year that maybe we couldn't do last year going forward?
Um, I mean, I would say just be more consistent. I think last year we lacked some consistency. One unit might be playing well one game, the other unit is not necessarily playing well. Very few times last year where I feel like we just completely clicked as a team. I would like to find some more consistency. I think that would certainly put us in a better position to make things a little easier for when we do go on that run. It's not easy to win four straight road games on the way to winning a championship, and especially as much as we travel. We'd like to get a home playoff game in there. I don't think we've had one since 2022 was the last time we had a home playoff game. So, we'd like to get back to doing that. Bring some postseason ball. The Tsongas Center and Pirate Nation, and also give our guys a little bit of a chance to kind of stay off those airplane seats and stay out of those terminals and those gates and just stay home. A goal for us, we never. I don't want to say we never. We set goals, but at the end of the day, our goals are more so mindset based. In a sense where we want to be the most competitive team. We want to carry ourselves with the most amount of pride, and we want to hold each other extremely accountable to do our jobs well. Those are the goals, especially for myself that I'd like to have for the team because the results come with it, and that's really kind of how we've carried ourselves. But yeah, let's be consistent, and then let's bring some postseason football to Pirate Nation this year.
Absolutely. So you're talking about starting this team, and you guys were working out of your cars and working in restaurants and stuff. That you have to be really motivated, driven to go after this goal and achieve it, knowing the market, knowing the oversaturation of some football leagues, and not having IFL or indoor football in Massachusetts, and we're some odd miles away from Boston and Foxborough, but it takes a lot of hard work to build a fan base, take some drive. So I want to know what motivated you. Like, what do you love so much about IFL and football that made you want to do this?
I mean, I've always been passionate about the game. It's a deep passion for myself. I would say no different than millions of other people in the country. But yeah, I mean, the motivation too is stems beyond football. I would say from here, born and raised in Massachusetts, and when you're representing your home state like that, you want to represent it well. And at the end of the day, I want to do well by my family. I want to represent them well too. and we're in the public eye, so to speak. So I don't want to do anything that would make our family look bad, and then to make our state look bad. I want to put on for our nation. I want to put on for my hometown, and I want to put on for my family, and those are the things that truly motivate me, on a day to day basis. Because there's days where it can get hard, but you just think of those reasons, and think about I'm very prideful, and yeah, I'm very understanding that this is such a results based business, and you only get so many opportunities to garner the results that you're looking for. So, when you know that and you really appreciate each game, you appreciate every moment, know that that's going to be judged and looked upon, down the road, and then that's one of the things I was trying to get across to the team last year prior to the championship was that it's truly important to appreciate the moment, because you only get this one opportunity to write history, right? To dictate futures, to write history, to put yourself in a position where you can, maybe achieve some future goals that you might have. And these moments are what people go back on, and what they look at and what they judge you on, and there's no redoing it. So you really have to appreciate the moment, and that's something that I do appreciate. I appreciate every time we're getting ready for a game day, every time we get to the arena, every time we're going to the airport to go travel for an away game, or, every time we meet with a potential corporate partner, or, every time we get to get around the fans and whatnot. I mean, you do your best, obviously. It's not perfect every time, but just knowing that, you can look back on it and say, what, I gave this everything I had. Just making sure I'm able to do that with every moment that happens within this whole journey. I just want to make sure that I can look back and say, what, I really sold out. So, uh, but yeah, I mean, it's multiple factors that lead to the motivation, but trying to be the best that we can be, and leaving the best legacy that I possibly can when it's all said and done, and that's the goals that I have, and that's why I stay very motivated.
Absolutely. And for reference for the audience, Jawad grew up in Shrewsbury. He played football for Shrewsbury, brought them a championship, and he played college football in Massachusetts for a little while as well.
Yeah,
So
bounce around a little bit, but yeah, it's great moments, great memories, helped shape who I am today. And yeah, I just kind of apply some of the things I learned, and on top of what I continue to learn, you're always learning. I learn a lot from my coaches. I learn a lot from my players. Learn a lot from making mistakes, and learn a lot from succeeding. And yeah, you just put it all together, and at the end of the day, you have your finished product, and that's your finished product for that specific day. And then that day, you might learn a little more, and then now you're a new product of yourself, so to speak. And then you just keep going. So a lot of great memories and moments, and that's turned me into who I am today.
yeah. So speaking on the player to ownership aspect, that's a pretty unique experience being a player and playing in this league, and then going on to own a team in the league. I couldn't name a single person in this league that's done that as of recently.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you got some. You got some. I know Todd Tryon, our commissioner, was a player in the league. He owned the Sioux Falls Storms for a little while. Now he's our commissioner now, obviously. You might find some examples in there. Um, but yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's
this
interesting.
is recent. You know what I mean? In this new era of IFL football, and being so young and going basically straight from playing into owning. Um,
Literally,
how,
literally.
how does being a player and knowing the aspects of the league, how does that translate into being an owner and running an organization for as long as you have so successfully?
Well, I mean, one of the things I was always vigilant. So, like, even when I was playing with an organization, I would pay attention to the operation, how they do it, pay attention to ownership, how present were they not? How was the overall operation? I got to be a part of three different organizations in this league, and I took something away from each one. And at the end of the day, it started off as what kind of organization would I want to be a part of? What would be included in that? You take that ideology and you apply it to the market you're in, because every market has its different challenges. And what's realistic and what's not. What can I realistically do in this in market, and what can I realistically not do in this market? And between all those factors, you settle in on your operation, and you try and fine tune it best to where you can get it to a point where you're making things as comfortable as you can for your players, but obviously you have a budget, so trying to stay within that budget and within your market that might have some, I guess, resources that are available, but not every market has every resource that you might be looking for that's realistic for you. So there's a bunch of different factors that ultimately end up to you establishing what your culture and your operation looks like, and then from there, as things grow, uh, you're able to kind of fine tune, different aspects of your organization, whether it's your housing situation for the players or meals for the players. What's your medical look like? Where are you practicing? What's your practice facility look like? All those things, essentially determine your day-to-day schedule throughout the season. So, how can we fine tune the timing of the schedule so that it benefits the players and the staff and everybody? It's a big equation at the end of the day, and how can you get it as close as you want to the answer you're looking for? And then that's the challenge, right? Just understanding what those resources are, identifying those, implementing them within the organization. Okay, well, we have this. What do we not have? And then working on what you don't have, improving that. All having, all trying to have it fit within the budget you have and the resources that you're able to allocate. Putting it all together and making it the best that you can for everybody involved. And yeah, I mean that's what we're working on currently. But yeah, I mean we're like I said, it all goes back to just working day in and day out, and that's what you strive for. Is it perfect all the time? Absolutely not. I mean, that's the first thing I tell the players and the coaches when they get here is don't expect perfection on our end. We don't expect perfection on your end, but we strive for it. At the end of the day, we all work hand in hand and putting together a great experience for everybody and for the fans and try to put on the best show that we can. That's what we hope. If we got Pirate Nation, if we got people out there that go to games and they get to enjoy a nice moment with themselves and their family at an affordable price, uh, because affordable is becoming, scarce word in the area. So, being able to be an affordable product for people in an area that might not be so affordable for everybody. If we can provide that moment for our fans, then I'm happy. At the end of the day, I want people to look back on the Pirates and just think that they had a great time attending the games. Maybe they met their girlfriend at a Pirates game, or they got to spend, some quality time with their mothers or their fathers or their grandparents or their brothers and sisters at the game. And maybe they take home a picture that they got with a player on the field and just some things that are lasting memories for our fans. I mean, that's special for me. So,
Absolutely, and clearly you have a love and passion not only for the game but for the Massachusetts Pirates and for Mass Pirates Nation and all the fans that have come out to these games. And moving from Worcester to Lowell, sometimes it's tough to retain, but you still have some diehard people, some people that come out and support all the time. And you were just talking about how there's parts of the Mass Pirates Nation that are special to you. What is special to you about the city of Lowell, Mass Pirates Nation, and how they support this organization?
yeah, I mean, I think Lowell is a great fit for the Pirates, honestly. Lowell, the whole Merrimack Valley, the whole northeast part of the state, and then even the southern part of New Hampshire. I think they embraced us extremely well last year. Attendance was up. From a business standpoint, there are some benefits that we've been able to work out for the organization in this area. I see it being a great fit for the organization. At the end of the day, being in a new market, yeah, I mean, the benefits are nice, but we're kind of starting from ground zero in a sense to where we're at a point now where we got to build the market up. So we set a nice foundation last year. There's definitely places that we can grow upon, and but yeah, it's really just about now we've kind of established ourselves in Lowell and the surrounding area, but now we got to build it up and continue to grow in this market. And that was a focus of ours this off season, and we made some nice developments. But yeah, I'm excited to see because I think we got a taste of what the potential of Pirates football can be in Lowell. But I'm excited to see, what it can turn into, and that comes with time. But time is passing, so it'll be fun to see, what we see, in our sophomore year in Lowell. We're excited.
Absolutely. So, getting into our last couple of questions here, you were talking about the legacy you want to leave, not only yourself as an owner, but as an organization, and the impact you want to have on the greater Lowell area and Merrimack Valley. And if we delve into that a little bit deeper, what kind of impact do you not only want to have on the fans, the people that come out to the games and support, but also the people within the organization, the players, the coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, For me, legacy comes with different perspectives depending on who you ask and what their point of view was on the organization. So, like, with fans, I'd say, I'd love the legacy to be just bright memories of following the organization, attending games, your interaction with the organization. I would love people to just look back on the team and just think about how much they enjoyed, their experience. Whether it was at a game, whether it was watching a game, whether it was seeing a player out in the public or meeting a coach or myself or any of the staffers, cheerleaders. Just having pleasant memories of their personal interaction with the organization, um, creating nice moments, moments that they'll remember. I mean, that's certainly when you talk legacy from a fan standpoint. I think that's what I hope for. I hope, and that's I can't decide or I can't dictate everything. When it comes to another individual's perspective on us, but that's what you certainly hope uh, for our players. They look back on their experience here and appreciate it. Know that it might not always been easy, but that they became a better person for having been a pirate. Maybe they've been put in a better position in their life because they came here, or maybe they met some lifelong connections through the pirates as well. I mean that's we want to leave a positive impact on anybody that comes to our organization. Yet again, is it perfect? I mean, no. But more than not, we hope that everybody has enjoyed their experience while they came through here. For staffers, we strive to put them in better positions to advance their careers. I mean, just today, I found out we had an employee who had just been hired by Major League Baseball, and it's those situations, those opportunities that I remember and that I can look back on and be proud of. That somebody I came through here, put the work in, and now they're in a place that they were always hoping to be at. We've had countless numbers of that. We've had a ton of staffers move on. Whether it was the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, WWE, um, and so on and so on. I mean, it's seeing, and we're typically a young staff anyway, so seeing these kids come in here and in an environment where they might not have been so familiar with, to see them learn, appreciate the opportunity, work hard, and then see them grow, and then ultimately get an opportunity down the road and then fulfill a lifelong dream. Those are personally for me, those are some of the coolest, moments that I can have. Just knowing that I was able to provide an opportunity for these kids to come in and get to where they want to be in life, by knowing that, my organization was a stepping stone for them. Those are pretty cool. Same with staffers. Seeing people advance their lives and their careers through the Pirates. I mean, that's something I take pride in, most definitely. Um, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, your legacy is kind of based on who you ask. There are some things that are facts and non-negotiables, such as like stats and wins and losses. You can't argue those. They are what they are. We've been blessed to win a lot of games here and build up a great reputation among the football world. But it's not over. We got to keep grinding and continue to add to that legacy and have one that's memorable down the road. And that's certainly a goal of mine, of ours. And yeah, just make it all so that all this work, all this money we put in this team, I mean, make it all so that we can leave with as much as we possibly can from it. And that's my personal goal, and hopefully, that translates to a positive legacy, so to speak, regardless of what perspective it's coming from. So
Yeah, absolutely. And hearing from you about how, as an owner, you not only care about the short-term success of the organization, but also the long-term success of everybody in it, and looking out for your players, looking out for your staffers. Like, this is a great way to move up in all aspects of the world, and that's something to feel great about, because you have a product that you're proud of, and you're proud of the people that you work with and the people that work for you. And I feel like that's not always easy to come by. And
it's not easy to come by, and the process isn't always easy. It's not always hugs and handshakes, but the end result is hopefully what we all seek out for. At the end of the day, if you're able to attain that, then we did our job.
this leads me into my last question for you. You were a player, and you are now an owner of a thriving business in the city of Lowell. And My question for you is if you have any advice for young athletes that want to get to that next level, or even young entrepreneurs that want to build something and succeed in the business aspect of the world, what's a tip you give
Um, I would say be ready to put yourself in tough situations
them?
for sure. And that there's always a way to find a way. The answer might not be right in front of your face all the time, but keep working, keep digging and searching. I mean, you'll find the answers that you're looking for. Just understand that there's gonna be a lot of trial and error. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna push yourself to a point where you question, is it worth it, or is this even healthy right now? And I remember my first year. I mean, I emotionally I was always stressed out, and I ended up putting on almost 50 pounds just from disregarding everything else in my life and just focusing on making sure that we're able to even operate a game, as let alone win one. Um, I'm not saying that's normal for everybody, but at the end of the day, I was gonna do whatever the hell I had to do to get the job done. That's always been my mindset is put the organization first, completely give all I possibly can to finding any solution that's needed for that specific situation, to make sure that the organization is in a good place. Um, and I continue to do that. So, but yeah, I mean, I would say just be comfortable being uncomfortable, and then just know that there's always a way to find a way. And as long as you got the work ethic, the motivation, and you got the right people around you, that's crucial when it comes to especially those early years where things aren't easy. You need the right group around you. I've been fortunate enough to have my family behind me, and we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for them. So I certainly appreciate everything that my family's done for me. My father, he's made this all possible. So I definitely appreciate that. We try to make him proud at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, just be ready to be uncomfortable. That's all. And be ready to face tough situations head on, and not shy away from them. Understand that not everybody's on your side. Understand that not everybody wants to see you win. Understand that there are going to be people out there that don't want to see you do well, but you just gotta ignore it. Keep the main thing, and keep pushing.
And that is a great way to end off the second episode of the official Massachusetts Pirates podcast, Walk the Plank. Jawad, thank you for coming on and talking to us here. It's great getting insight on you and your history and what the goals you have for this organization going forward. And for all the watchers and listeners out there, if you want to see this live in action, March 21st, season opener at Tsongas Center. Get your tickets at masspirates.football.com. You can see the ticker below, and it will be in the description. So thank you, Jawad, for coming on and talking to us. And everybody, have a great rest of your day.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.